Hello, coin aficionados, and welcome to the PHILINDSING coin channel. Today we're going to look at some coins from the Philippines. We're going to look at the half peso, the 1 peso, the 2 peso, the 5 peso, and the 10 peso. And here's all of them right here. Let's start with the half peso. And as most of you know, in the Philippines they don't call it a half peso. They call it a 50 centimos coin. And this is one of the older 50 centimos coins. And it says Limempang centimos, 50 here. Marcelo H. del Pilar has a kind of a geared outer rim, and Marcelo del Pilar is facing to the right. If we tip it up, we see that it has a reeded rim. And then on the back, we see that this is one of the old style Republica ng Pilipinas. And then down here, we see that it says Republica ng Pilipinas down here on the banner underneath. And this is a 1974. So this is a 1974 half peso, or what we might call the 50 centimos coin from the Philippines. In the same way that on this one we call this the Kennedy half dollar. It's a 1971. And this one actually says half dollar on it. Doesn't say 50 cents. So this one's worth 50 cents in the US. Look at that kind of ribbon going across. But it's called a half dollar, not a 50-cent coin. And this coin is worth a half of a peso in the Philippines, and it's called a 50 centimo rather than a half peso. So what's next? What's next is this beautiful Jose Rizal 1 peso. And if we look at this one, it's just a fine coin. And there's a Manila Mint. Over here, there's a BSP here, Banco Central Pilipinas. And then it says Republica ng Pilipinas. And then we see it's an 8-sided shape with 3 stars all around the outside. Jose Rizal kind of facing forward. And this is the only Jose Rizal where he actually faces kind of towards you. All the other ones he faces either to the right or to the left. There's a reeded edge. And then again, we see this is a new society coin, Yang Gagong Lapunan, 1981. And down here, rather than the Philippine Republic, we have saying Bansa Sang Diwa, the motto of the new society coins in the Philippines in 1981. And then way down here, we see it says Banco Central ng Pilipinas down at the bottom, and with the shield, of course, on the inside. So that's the 1 peso coin. The 2 peso coin was not made for long, and is made in 2 different varieties. It was made in this variety with the edges, and then it was made in a smaller round variety. We see the coconut palm on the back, and here's the actual Latin name for coconut palm, Cocos nucifera 2 peso. This is from the Flora and Fauna series, and you see that it's from 1984. It's Andres Bonifacio facing to the left, Republica ng Pilipinas here, and he's wearing kind of the knotted scarf, and he is obviously one of the first Philippine freedom fighters and fought for Philippine independence, Mr. Bonifacio. Next we have the 5 peso coin. And this is a recent arrival, came in the 1990s. Before then, all 5 pesos were paper dollars. Republica ng Pilipinas, Emilio Aguinaldo, who was actually on a paper $5 or 5 peso coin. Sometimes I mix up the dollars and the pesos. 5 peso coin, and it's 1998. So Emilio Aguinaldo on the 5 peso facing to the right, and we see that it has this kind of script work around the outside. We tip it up and it has a smooth edge. So that's the first of our smooth edge coins that we're looking at today. And then we see the Banco Central ng Pilipinas. It says 1993 here, but remember, this is the front of the coin, but this is really just the seal or the emblem of the Central Bank of the Philippines, the BSP. The 1993 is not the year is here, 1998. And then finally, we have the one of the newer additions, and that is, of course, the 10 peso coin. And on the 10 peso coin, we have both Apollinario Mabini and Andres Bonifacio. So if we take a look here, we have Aguinaldo, then we have Bonifacio and Mabini. We see back here it says the BSP symbol, Bank Central Pilipinas, Republic ng Pilipinas here, and they're both facing to the right. And this one's a 2002. It's bimetallic, so there's two different metals, the first two metal coin that the Philippines produced. And then if we look at the edge, we see that it's two different rims. It's called a segmented reeded edge. So we have the reeds, then we have the flat, then we have the reeds, then we have the flat, and then we have the reeds. And this is essentially set up because it's very hard to counterfeit this coin if they set it up this way with the two metals and the segmented reeded edge. So there we have it. There's our 10 peso, 5 peso, 2 peso right here. But of course the 2 peso, we have to turn it over because the 2 peso is the one that doesn't have the value on the same side as the person that has their value on the other side. And the 2 peso, of course, is also the one that doesn't have the BSP logo on it. So all the other ones have the BSP logo, but this one has the BSP right down here, this logo, but it doesn't have the whole front of the coin in BSP. So there's the 2. Then there's the 1. And then finally, here's the 1/2 peso or 50 centimo coin from the Philippines. That's all we have today. Have a great day, and we'd love to have you subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you might have in the comments section of the PHILINDSING coin channel.